Zachary stood on the edge of the bayou, fishing for minnows and crawdads to eat. But he didn't catch nothing to eat all that day. That night he walked home to the swamp on tired feet. When he walked in his cabin way off in the swamplands, he called to his wife, who was named Emily. And he said to her, "What we got cooking for dinner?" She said, "We ain't got nothing much, Zachary. You know we got left only one little tater. I try hard to make us a gumbo with that, but you can't get a meal out of just one small tater. I might as well try and cook up his straw hat." "Well, why you don't kill us a chicken for dinner?" Zachary said as he sat at his place. "And make chicken gumbo. You know that's my favorite." But Emily said, "That would be a disgrace. We got just one chicken out there in the yard, would lays us an egg most every day. It would be a great sin to kill such a chicken, and with no egg for breakfast. Hey, what would you say?" "Well, I guess you are right," he said as he sat there. "I'll try out that tater. Ooh, I hope it's all right." But when he lifted his fork to his mouth for a taste, he knew right away he'd be hungry all night. Pushing that tater around with his fork, Zachary shut his eyes, trying real hard to pretend that the gumbo was something delicious. When just then he heard a noise out in the yard. That chicken was squawking and making a racket. Zachary ran to the window to look, and old Red de Bois had grabbed hold of his chicken and was gripping that bird in his teeth like a hook. Zachary was mad. He grabbed a big stick and he ran to the door to open it wide. But that old Red Bois fell down dead at his feet even before Zachary stepped outside. So he lifted that Red Bois up by the tail. "We got meat for dinner tonight, Emily," Zachary called with a grin, and then said, "Red Bois stew was real good. Wait and see." Then he slapped that old Red Bois down on the table, and he took his long knife to cut open the hide. Then he made a long slit in that Red Bois belly, and he peeled off the skin to get what was inside. Then he said, "Emily, go and heat up the oven. Maybe you better put on some more wood. Put some grease in the pan. Throw in that tater. Take this Red Bois now and cook it real good. Me, I am taking the skin from this critter on down the bayou to old Abe's store. Maybe he'll trade me a bottle of wine, and if I get lucky, I'll get something more." Emily started cooking as Zachary left. He got his pirogue and headed downstream. He arrived at the store in the dark of the night, and his knocking woke Abe right out of his dream. Old Abe stuck his head out of the window. He held up a candle and said, "Who's that there?" Zachary said, "Why, it's me, Zachary, and this Red Bois skin I got here is pretty fair." Old Abe said, "It's too dark, I can't see it. Better bring it inside into the light." So they took in that skin, and then with some nails hung it up on the wall and stretched it real tight. Old Abe studied that Red Bois skin. "You know, Zachary," the old man, he said, "that's the very best skin that I've seen in some time. I can give you a bottle of wine and some bread." Oh, as he headed home, Zachary was so proud to have gotten a Red Bois skin that's so fine that old Mr. Abe had traded him for it a whole loaf of bread along with the wine. He was sure feeling good when at last he got home. He put down that wine and that bread at his place. Then he opened that wine, and it really smelled good. Zachary, he just sat with a grin on his face. "Well, Emily," he called to his wife, "is my Red Bois cooked? Is it ready to eat?" She said, why you don't look in the oven yourself? Don't be so lazy. Go check your own meat. So Zachary got up and walked to the oven, getting down on his knees to open the door. The sweet smell from inside was driving him crazy. As he opened the oven, he sniffed it some more. But would you believe it? What Zachary saw was the rabbit boy sitting there grinning a grin. It took one look at Zachary, then finished eating that one-tater gumbo and wiped off its chin. It licked up all of the grease in the pan, and then it jumped over poor Zachary's head. It knocked over Zachary's bottle of wine, and it jumped out the window with Zachary's bread. That old rabbit boy had the bread under one arm and grabbed up the chicken with its other hand, and off it ran into the dark of the woods. Zachary was so mad that he hardly could stand. Then Zachary stood and peered into the darkness, and he said as he raised his fist over his head, someday I will get you for spilling my wine and stealing my chicken and also my bread. But that old rabbit boy, well, he had the last laugh. Later that night, he sneaked out of the woods and slipped in the window of old Abear's store and quietly crept through the piles of dry goods. He looked round the store till he found a hammer, and then found his skin nailed up on the wall, and using that hammer, he pulled out them nails. When the last one was pulled, his skin it did fall. He picked up that skin and he carried it over to where Mr. Abear kept needle and thread. And putting that skin back on just like a coat, he sewed himself up from his toes to his head. And quick as a wink, he was gone out the window. With his skin sewed back on, he was now good as new. He ran into the woods to eat that bread and chicken, and Zachary never got rabbit boy stew.